1.
The Match Ball.
Hello there, welcome to The Match Ball. It's brought to you in association with Levi Solicitors, who will offer you a 10% discount on your legal fees. levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Dan, Michael and Rob here for the Boxing Day game. That's not very good now, is it, boys and girls?
No. Levi Solicitors, though.
Yeah, excellent.
Continue to provide excellent services. Well, probably not today because it's bank holiday, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
everyone's shut for Christmas. Well, that's Christmas cancelled, isn't it?
Well, they didn't ruin Christmas. Boxing Day's always shit. Just feel fat and hungover, don't you?
No.
Do you not?
I feel slim and attractive and sober as a judge. Yeah, that was a pain in the arse, wasn't it? Let's talk about the red card then, because it's obviously going to be the big talking point. Meslier, what do you reckon?
I mean, it is one, isn't it?
Just a bit daft, wasn't he? Reminded me of Ewan O'Kane at Ipswich, where you just go, no, just don't do that. They've absolutely bought it out of you, and you've been stupid enough to fall for it.
The annoying sort of is that it's a red card because of the rule that says you can't touch someone's face, basically. But it's not hurt him in the slightest. So it's
frustrated in terms of genuine human physical contact.
Yeah, it's only a red because they've brought in it's like a special class of foul if you touch someone's face, isn't it, basically? Because that hurts far less than just being kicked, which you're allowed to do and get away with it for the most part. So what I'm saying is he should have really lamped him.
Yes.
If you're going to get sent off for attacking someone's face, at least,
earn it.
Spread the nose about a little bit or something, because you can do, can't you? And it's the same red.
Frustrating, I think.
But stupid. Just
because I kind of saw it and I went, oh no, that can't be, but it is, but that's not fair.
Yeah, that was the thing watching it live, because I didn't really realise he'd slapped him in the face, or pushed him in the face to start with. And I thought, no, that's not a red. And then you saw it back and think, Ilan, why have you done that? He should have tried to rip the rest of his patchy beard off his face, shouldn't he?
And there was the little exchange in the sort of run up to the red card thing, which probably contributed to the outcome of the red card when he's head to head with the other guy, but he was laughing and grinning at that point, was Meslier, wasn't he? And then
he didn't need to get involved in the whole thing, did he?
No.
I think the first guy must have said something to him or bumped him a little bit, and he turned around and had a bit of a pop at him, but then.
I mean, they're 28, had no reason to get involved. No. He ran in, didn't he? But
did he get booked for it? I'm sure he did.
Booked.
Yeah.
What do you reckon to this result being on Farker and Meslier then? Again, we're into the territory of team selection subs, leaving Gray on as well. I mean, that's one thing we did say in here, wasn't it, when we were watching it, that leaving Archie on against Miller on that side, when we'd seen he was causing trouble for him all game.
Well, they had one plan, really, which was to give it to him. He'd go outside, then he'd cut inside. But
that's not a unique plan, is it? We've seen teams targeting Archie.
Yeah.
Do you know what would solve it?
Buy a left back.
Buy a fucking left back.
Allow you to move stuff
Have
around.
a left back, and then you can move the right back you've got on loan from Spurs to the right back position.
Yeah, I mean, I would have possibly looked to get Archie out of there because he was struggling a lot.
He was also, by the end, he's playing like right centre back and kind of covering both. And Willie Nonso was on the right hand side. I thought maybe they could have had Dan James on the right hand side because he's generally a bit more diligent defensively. But yeah, someone just needed to kick him.
Yeah,
kick Miller, because
we should be more strategic and bastardy in these situations, shouldn't we?
Because they weren't they? They did us today in that sense.
I was going to say
we were a little bit too passive, I thought.
Compare how they booted Somerville into the air in like 15 minutes in, and he did a somersault in the air. Someone just needed to do that to Miller, and nobody did.
Take it in turns. Just go one at a time. Go over there and kick him, so you can't get sent off for it, and just. No one's getting it for totting up. You just go like, Dan James, you go have a little go at him. Now Ampadu, it's your turn. Now Kamara, it's your turn.
Yeah.
And eventually you kind of wear him down on these things. But it was just frustrating because he did the exact same thing every single time he got the ball, and we just continued to fail to deal with it.
And you look at the contrast with Somerville, who didn't get into the game at all today. No. He was totally out of it, off the boil. But they all were. I mean, you've got to give credit. I mean, as much as we might not like it, I don't think we're not moaning necessarily at what Preston did, their approach to win the game, because it won them the game.
And we're not, and I'm advocating us being
bastards as well,
being a dick to a winger as well. If it's particularly when you see they've only got really one good player, just go and pick on him.
Yeah,
like just go and boot him as much as you can and get him annoyed and get him booked because he's annoyed that everyone's kicking him every time he gets it.
They did let him have the free run of it, didn't they?
Really did.
He got to stay in his groove all game, and then.
Oh, the annoying thing, which maybe comes with experience with Gray, I don't think he really wanted to use his left foot at all. So show him outside now and then to cross it, because he put in the cross for the header, didn't he, as well? But that was again where he cut inside and crossed it. It was just the same thing over and over again. It's just really hard to watch.
Yeah, it's frustrating, isn't it? And in terms of the subs, I'm sort of mindful that you can't really change a winning team after what we did to Ipswich, can you? I mean, like, it's easy to say with hindsight, he should have rotated. I'm confusing rotation with subs here, but the same point stands. You know, it's like you can criticise Farke for his subs or whatever, and the subs today were in a position of being up against it, given what Meslier did, first of all. And obviously, they worked up to a point because we got a very well-deserved penalty.
Oh, it was a sickening challenge.
Yeah. And then it's just unfortunate that Archie getting isolated at right back has ended up costing us the game. But in terms of rotation, you can't justify rotating, can you, going into that game? I know it might be a grumble overall about what Farke does or doesn't do in the run to these games.
It will be interesting to see what he does in the next game, because he does keep saying this spell of 4 games in 9 days, I will have to rotate. But then, like you say, he's like, well, if you think your best team are fit enough, you've got to play your best team, haven't you? Yeah. But it's just not worked today.
I mean, at least Ampadu's had a rest now.
All 5 minutes of it. I do wonder if maybe is this the opportunity to do what I've just said, and that's stick Spence at right back. If Byram's fit enough to,
I reckon Meslier probably get a rest.
Do you think
next game as well?
He can go out New Year's Eve now as well, can't he? Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's talk about.
I feel like he might deserve it for not singing Last Christmas
in the right tune, in the right key.
Allowing Pascal to. No, it was he wasn't singing it at all.
It was Pascal who went up.
Pascal went falsetto, didn't he?
Darlow was his first contribution there to pick it out of the back of the net.
Bless him.
Good header though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You can't really blame him.
Stop the cross, please. Just someone. Yeah. I feel like we've been guilty of that a few times recently. I don't know if they're all just concerned about people running in behind him or whatever. It's like sometimes if the guy's going to cross it, go to him really quickly. Because it was the Coventry goal, wasn't it? I think that was Spence. Just let the guy put the cross in. Like, come on, just make it easier for yourself.
There is a certain amount of, I don't know, at times I notice this. Do you agree? Like there's a bit of a lack of physicality with us sometimes. Like we tend not to put our foot in and mix it up. We tend to sort of stand off and try and maintain shape more than anything. And sometimes we're happy for teams to cross.
Which might work if we could win headers.
Yeah.
But we're not very good at that.
No, I mean, the problem is it can't, and you know, by definition, it can't work every week, can it? It works most weeks because we're good most weeks.
Yeah. Every game we lose just feels exactly the same, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I feel like in the Premier League, we found loads of different ways to lose last year. Like sometimes we just go out and get a pasting from the first minute. Other times we'd take the lead and then they'd come back into it. Sometimes we'd go ahead early and then they'd steamroller us. You know, there were loads of different ways of doing it. This year, it's just every defeat feels exactly the same.
Yeah, but perhaps that's not necessarily a bad thing though. In that we're in every game.
Yeah,
we were in that one even with 10 men with 7 minutes to go plus stoppage time.
It's maybe the difference between the Championship and the Premier League as well, isn't it? Because all our defeats do feel very champo. And I was looking at the stats at half time, and I think between the two teams, they had lost possession 135 times, which is like 3 times a minute it works out as. And you think, yeah, it felt like that as well. It was just, there was no pattern of play.
They didn't want to let us play, did they? It worked for them. And fair enough.
Yeah, it did.
Anders is just asking, can you, Michael, or another footballing expert, explain why it's a worse offence lifting your hand to someone's face than running 20 metres to shove an opposition keeper two-handed in the chest? It's just the way it is, isn't it? And
it's a daft rule, really.
Yeah, and you wonder why, maybe the referee as well is in the back of his mind knows it's on TV. If you don't take some action under those circumstances, because you wonder if that had not been a televised game, had it been 2 other teams, maybe just a random Championship game, does someone get sent off there?
I think refs always send people off for shoving in the face. But I agree, it's stupid. What are you actually penalising? Because it's not hurt him. It's not affected the game because the ball's not even in play at the time. So what exactly are you punishing? Is his face so fragile that he could have knocked all his teeth out with that? Like it doesn't seem to make sense. It's a bit like, someone can, if you take your shirt off, it's always a yellow card because that's the rule. So, well, why? You can take your shirt off quickly. What if you take your shirt off as you're running back to the halfway line, celebrating? You could do that really quick. Like I can see there's a principle to it, which is, well, it wastes time, and in this case, you're not meant to shove people in the face. But what impact it has on anything was it's a pointless argument to get into though, because the players all know you can't do it, so don't do it. So just don't do it.
Yeah,
but
with regards to red cards, House of Stokes makes a good point. They had 22 fouls. And we were saying on a number of occasions, we thought they might end up getting a red card if they weren't careful. So it kind of came almost as a bit of a shock that it was us who got a straight red. Because I was fairly sure that one of them might make a daft challenge at some point for a second yellow or whatever. But
they should have had one in injury time, shouldn't they? Because mean, admittedly, Brown's first yellow was for walking in front of Dan James, which was strange. But then in injury time, he did that one on Rutter, which was a yellow card, like 9 times out of 10, you would say. But by that point, what difference does it make?
Yeah. So I was just going to say that the red card came as a bit of a shock because you expected him to get almost to do it through totting up, but they walked it right up to the line and stopped just at the right point. And as soon as they were in any danger of a red, just made the subs, didn't they? So, I mean, fair enough. Like you say, I don't think we can bitch and moan about the approach that they took because it won them the game in the end. So,
and we did. And I mean, I've just looked at the XG. We had 1.34, which is nearly all the penalty, isn't it? That
penalties, what, 0.75 or something?
Yeah. But I can't remember any chances we had, really.
Yeah, I looked at the XG at half-time and they had 0.22 and we had 0.49. I was like, I don't really know where that's come from either. Perot had that chance where, was it Spence that cut it back? And he kind of fluffed it. But other than that, it was a lot of just block shots, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, they didn't create anything either. It was a shit. They were sort of saying on the commentary they were going on, in other countries they have a break for Christmas, but this is great entertainment. It's thinking this has been a shit game. Yeah. Like if you're watching that as a neutral, you're like, fucking hell, this is dire. Apart from a few moments where Ruto was able to turn and run past people, I don't think you'd say there were any good bits of football in that.
No, it was not a good game, was it?
That Ruto run from his own half, that was theirs.
It was the one smile-worthy moment, wasn't it?
That second half, we just needed to give him the ball constantly because he was the one player who looked like he could do something.
Yeah.
Sign Chris Wood because he's got a hat-trick today up at Newcastle. Premier League striker Chris Wood.
That is funny.
Good for him.
It's quite funny. Yeah, we'll have to catch up with it and see if there's any ear cupping or anything along those lines. But yeah, not a good day for Leeds. Was it at all? What do you reckon to the triple subs then? That was at 68 minutes. And it was Somerville, Kamara and Spence who went off. And you can see he's still trying to build up Spence's minutes. Gruev, Nonto and Joseph who came on. Did any of the three who came on do any...
I would have
anything impactful, or was the game already away from us at that point?
I felt like he should have taken Gray off because he was having a very difficult time on that side. I know Spencer's probably tired, but if Spencer's tired and Gray isn't, maybe look to shuffle Gray around and put Byram on at right back or something because it seemed like it was so glaringly obviously going to be where they scored from.
I'd like to know how fit Byram is. I mean, you do just feel like you've got to wrap him in cotton wool, but I think Fark was saying, he'll be back in the new year, and he rocks up on the bench today, and you do think, like, was he ever actually going to come on or not?
Maybe not. But the subs didn't feel like it had much impact, did it? But then we did win a penalty with them on. But I mean, that wasn't a penalty.
That was exciting when we were like, who's going to take this penalty? No,
no. Oh, he's gone off.
Hang on a minute.
It was a nice enough penalty.
We could have brought Pat on, couldn't we? At that point. Just to take it.
Could have done. But was it that one a penalty, was it?
I mean, he did. He tripped him.
He did. Dan James stood on his toe as he went past him and then shot in the air like it was detonated.
I thought it was nailed on. Especially the way he rolled around in that penalty box. I thought that must have been a terrible tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah, ref was weird.
Yeah,
it was mental.
He was pretty rubbish,
I
have to say. He'd been doing Premier League games apparently as well, hadn't he?
But I just couldn't. It's nothing that specific that he did wrong or right. I just confused by the whole thing. He let a lot go under some circumstances, but then under others not.
By the end of the game, anyone who fell over just got a free kick, and potentially the other player got a booking. It was strange.
Which is why I thought we might end up seeing them get a red card because he was like giving fouls and then the odd booking here and there for everything.
Like the one in the first half where Somerville ends up upside down. I feel like late in the game he probably gives a free kick and a yellow card for that. But then at the time it happened, he was in a little spell of letting stuff go, and I don't know. I don't feel like I particularly want to blame the ref.
No, not at all. No, because they're all like this.
And I don't think it's worthy of a red card, but I think it is a red card at the same time. I don't think that's really a penalty, but then you also do see those penalties given all the time. Fucking stupid sport, I hate it.
Although you should be celebrating. You were running around here punching the air when Preston got that late goal because you've won money today.
Of course I have, yeah.
What have you won?
About 30 quid, I think.
And what are you going to spend it on? You filthy, ill-gotten gains.
I've already told you what I'm spending it on.
Oh yeah, you did. If you've seen the movie Trainspotting, that's your reference point there.
The kids are going to have a great new year, aren't
they? 3-match ban for Meslier, obviously, for violent conduct.
Well,
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Be nice to see a bit of Carl Darlow.
When we signed Darlow, I did kind of think he'd be our number one because I thought we'd be selling Meslier. Then we didn't.
No.
He's fine, isn't he? Probably. We've not seen the best of him.
He made a save today, and it might be his first save in a Leeds shirt, so things can only get better.
6 months. It's taken him 6 months to make a save. God,
we have just made that up, by the way. He probably has made a save.
Yeah,
don't look at stats.
We're just being silly boys, aren't we? Yeah. I mean, in terms of what it means for the whole overall season, I would say it's very important. Even though we kind of made hay with the Ipswich victory, not to completely lose our shit over this either, because one of them's dropping points later on today. But if they do draw, they should grow up and not do that. But what represents the best outcome from that game tonight? Is it a Leicester win, basically? So we're no worse off.
Yeah, we need Leicester to
just run away with it.
Run away with it, fine.
Yeah. Get it won before you come to Ellen Road, so you're not even asked.
Yeah. Beat Ipswich twice this month. Beat Southampton whenever you play them as well, because they're probably going to go ahead of us today, which is not fair, really, if you think about it, because I've not thought about them as much as I maybe should have done. But yeah, they're playing Swansea, aren't they, at home? So you think they'd win that?
It's nice to have the stress of trying to chase down the top two when we're so clearly going to lose in the playoffs this season. But, makes it exciting, doesn't it?
Stop it now. It's Christmas. It's a time of dreams and fairy tales, isn't it? So we've got to indulge in that. Yeah.
I'm just looking on, I know it's algorithmic nonsense, but according to FOTMob, basically everyone was shit. Ampadu and Strauch were our best players, which...
Well, we never got into the passing, did we, today? That's always a dead giveaway when we can't pass to each other properly, and when we get it out to the likes of Somerville, when nothing just seems to happen or work. Don't know.
Games like this as well.
You can sniff it, can't you?
Like when Piru went off as well, you sort of didn't miss him because I felt like he barely touched it to that point anyway. So when he goes off, you sort of, well, okay, what's the difference?
Yeah, Stu's just pointing out. Forget
16 touches, Piru.
It's Southampton who'll profit from Christmas, so they'll probably go above us today.
Yeah, I think I just said that a minute ago.
Did you say that? Sorry, I was thinking sad thoughts. Thinking sad thoughts about it.
I'm surprised Ampadu's rated that highly. It's weird, these games, because, like you say, we've had a few results like this, and you come out of it wondering, well, which bit went wrong? And sometimes I do think, do we just need the midfield to just boss it a bit more and let our attacking players take the piss as they have done for much of this season?
We've thrown quite a few away points with bad discipline as well, because Birmingham was a late penalty we gave away, wasn't it? We had
Hull,
the red at Hull, the red today, Stoke. I mean, it's not discipline of not giving Pat Bamford a good spanking when he picks up the ball for that penalty. But there have been, even in games we've lost, we've made a real deliberate effort to throw points away at times, it feels, this season, which I'd just rather we didn't. Every game we've won, we've thoroughly deserved, is what I'm saying. Every game we've lost has been not fair in some way.
Yeah, we've been cheated by...
No, but we were shit today. I'm not going to complain about it too much, but I think they were also shit, and we should have got something from it as a result of that.
Yeah, my first note on the game was 2 minutes in when their centre-half just passed it out for a throw-in. And I thought, oh no, this is good. Like, they're terrible. We should just batter these. But
I mean, just rewinding to the start, I think we were of a mind here. I was certainly thinking it. Okay, we've not been great. We've not done much in the first 20 to 25 minutes. But if we can just sit tight, don't do anything stupid, don't concede anything, hopefully we then start to come into the game. And it started to unfold a little bit like that, didn't it? But we never properly took it by the scruff of the neck from that point.
I'm just checking my notes from the start because I can't remember what happened. Basically, nothing happened.
Yeah, I've barely made any notes today.
Just because there were no chances.
Yeah, our set pieces were awful, but then I've just looked. We did have 2 chances in the first half from set pieces, which Rodon and Ampadu just headed miles wide, which is frustrating. But from then on, our crossing from set pieces went back to like last season when it was Brendan Aronson and Jackie whispering to each other and then hitting the...
Yeah, with a bit of Mark Rocker thrown in for good measure as well.
Yeah, it's one of those just little signs, those signifiers that it's not quite going your way, is it? Like, it felt like, and I tweeted this from the Square Ball account, saying it's one of those days where absolutely everything seems to go right and went right from the very first whistle. Today, it just felt like all of it was a bit of a grind and never quite clicked.
We have won games like this, but like Blackburn away felt in some ways a bit like this, that it was quite boring in some ways, and we weren't great, but we just had enough to beat them because individual players managed to do stuff. But today, just, I don't know, Somerville's been our best player for quite a while now, and he had his worst game for months, probably. Like, he ran it out of play a couple of times, just never felt like it was clicking for him, did it?
Yeah, that was after Melier got sent off, and I thought, oh, maybe this might give us a jolt, and then Somerville ran it out of play, and then Preston scored. So, maybe not.
Yeah, interesting point that Stu's making, that we need in a number 10 in the side against these types of teams, somebody who can make things happen. It's playing against the deep defence, isn't it? The banks of 5 that seems to, it frustrates us. And then when you've got an outlet like Miller who causes you enough problems, it can sometimes be enough to win a game.
Deep lying midfielders, we seem to have quite a nice way of getting play going through Ampadu and Kamara. The more deep lying playmaker types, but when it gets further forward, it does sometimes feel like everyone we have wants to run with the ball and get in the box, and there's not anyone who just, in the way that Pablo used to sometimes kind of stop. I know we just ended up talking about Pablo because he was good last time he went up. I'm aware it's predictable, but like how he'd sometimes he'd stop and everything and move around him, and he'd all of a sudden be in loads of room, and then he could thread a ball, and I know it feels like we all bomb forward a little bit too much at points.
James is quite adept at doing that, but his decision making just sometimes lets him down, doesn't it? But he's been pretty good on that for the most part, where he'll put his foot on it because he's so damn fast. He'll get onto something. You think, right, hang on a minute, put your foot on it, let everybody catch up with the play. So he's not bad at it, but obviously Dan James is not Pablo Hernandez.
I enjoyed his shot from about 35 yards, where he was never, ever, ever going to score, and it was a very predictable outcome of into the stands, and he just cut to Farker shaking his head. That is this afternoon.
Bad day. Well, if the comments have come through, we'll have a chat about those very quickly. Otherwise, I think we should just go.
Let's just go
because it's Christmas and we don't need to labour the point, do we?
Sorry, everyone.
We'll be back on Friday night then for more match ball action after the victory in pink at West Brom. Then give that a whirl.
Yeah,
you looking forward to that now?
It'll be pink again, won't it?
Yeah, you looking forward to it?
Not anymore.
8:15, isn't it?
It's very late. Although what it does mean is that we got this out the way early, so we can stew on it for 4 days now over this daft week between Christmas and New Year. Come back on Friday night, so at least we get a proper few days now.
I'm just gonna forget this happened and think about Saturday a bit more.
Yeah,
it was nice of that.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I don't feel like it's taken the wind out of my sails about that. I've just kind of had to go, forget it. Whatever, not having it.
Let's go then, I suppose.
Right then. Speak to you on Friday. We'll see you in a bit.
The Match Ball.